this thing working. Give me some sound, baby.
Yeah.
The Out of Bounds Show is powered by the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Saints, NFL Draft Insider. He's our guy, Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And, man, there's a lot going on in the world of NFL and college football. You're listening to 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. And you can watch the show right now. You can go to YouTube and search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. Mike D on the show. Mike D, has Alvin Kamara played his last football?
No, I want to play football again. The big question mark will be when he will return to play football. Serious charge. Got it on tape. The one thing for sure, when this happens in Las Vegas, I mean, they got a camera everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So you see it, and he's in a bit of trouble, and he could potentially, because we've had lawyers on that have told us this, potentially could serve some jail time with this, and again. I don't know the connection between the district attorney's office and the lawyers he has. Now, he has two really good lawyers, and so it'll remain to be seen how this all sort of turns out. And financially, you know, this will be he also has a civil court suit in Louisiana against him. And so that's another part of it, where, well, finances are going to come out of it. But you know, it's not looking good for Alvin. And his lawyers did get him to play a full season in 2023. But he's going to miss some downtime. I mean, in 2022, but he's going to miss time in 2023. No question about it. He's going to miss at least a half a season. Now, the minimum for that has been 6 games. But because of you can actually see it, you know, they may get this to 8 games and then see what happens afterwards. So it's a difficult case for Alvin at this point. And, boy, you talk about put yourself in a bad position. He certainly did.
Yeah, and the clock's ticking, Mike. Today. You know, he's 20. No. And he's 27. He'll be 28 July 25th. And, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Terrible
and so
mistake.
Whatever happens, even before this, the Saints were in a position where they needed to upgrade the running back position. Because with Mark Ingram's age, and looks as though he may have had his last carry in the NFL, you needed someone else. And Alvin has missed some time with injuries. But now it's become plural. You just don't need one, you need 2. Because you don't know how much time Kamara's going to miss with this. And he's such an integral part of the offense as not only a runner, but also as a receiver coming out of the backfield.
Mike Detillier on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. All right, let's switch gears. Well, real quick, do you have any new thoughts on what direction the Saints could go at quarterback?
I think they still have their eyes set on Derek Carr. For me, it would be finances. You know, he's asking in the region of $35 million and a long-term commitment, which means, 3 to 4 years. Man, I ain't sure I'm giving Derek Carr that kind of money. I'll be absolutely honest. If that's the case. This is a team salary cap strapped to begin with. Carr is a better player than Andy Dalton, but is he $35 million more? Would you pay Dalton 10, maybe 11, and you would pay Andy 35 or somewhere in that range? Boy, that's a lot of money to pay for Carr, and it's a long-term commitment. It's just not for a bridge, because he's the bridge. I think he's their guy, and if not, and I said this to you before, don't be at all shocked. They do one of two things: go right back to Andy Dalton, or they make a move toward Baker Mayfield.
Oh gosh, okay.
No, I mean there are people in the scouting department there that like Baker Mayfield. Don't hurt the messenger. I'm just giving you the news.
Well, I guess they like his salary and they like his skill. I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, right? They may fall in love with his skill set a little bit more because his salary is so much better than Carr's, or no, Mike?
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, what you going to pay Baker? We've had guys that have come on to estimate a salary of $8 million with incentives built in that could get him to 10 or 11 or 12 in comparison to 34 to 35. My thing, if that's what you're going to do, then you better pick Hendon Hooker in round 2.
Oh, I like that. All right, let's get into that. Bryce Young, you've done this for 30 plus years with the NFL draft, and they're going to pick apart all these QBs, among others. But Bryce Young, 5'10.5", I guess maybe 197. Mike, we know he's got the arm and the accuracy. How would you approach it? Would you go the heck with it? I love him, or he's not built like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray, where those and Drew is the anomaly. He's the outlier, and so I mean, there's only one of him in 40 years of the NFL. How would Mike Detillier approach Bryce Young's size and stature?
Well, he's the best quarterback in his draft class. Anybody tells you anything different, either you got to get your eyes checked on new TV. Come on, can convince me Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, or C.J. Stroud is better than him. Give me one strong argument for that. And that's what I hear in the background, a lot of silence. Well, they bigger, they stronger, they faster. Well, I'm not asking you that. I know that. I stood right up to all 4 of them at Manning. And I know, Bryce is in that 5'10", 3/4, maybe stretching it to 5'11" range. But I've seen guys like him make it in this league. Archie Manning had the best comparison. He said, Mike, he's the new age version of Fran Tarkenton. And he said, listen, they're going to have a lot of people try to cut him down. People that have never played this game, don't know anything about this game, that are going to try to cut him down. That, he's too small and he won't last and anything else. They said the same thing about Fran. They said the same thing about Steve Young. They said the same thing about Drew. And they're always outlier-type players that hit the league. You don't want to build a team full of them, but there are those type players. And I think the world of him. He's a leader. He's smart. He's accurate. He's fundamentally sound. And he's got one trait that is difficult to teach. He's got quick twitch ability in between his ears to find out where the open receiver is downfield. There are very few people in this world that can do it like that. Very few. Now, yeah, they got people bigger, stronger, faster. So what? They got people that were bigger, stronger, faster that have failed in this league because they could not compute how fast this league is coming at you and being able to throw the football downfield. Bryce Young's got it. Absolutely has it. And I feel the same way to Hendon Hooker. I feel the exact same way. When I walked out of Manning camp, well, we did a little interview with, they have these 5,000 cameras all over. And my thing is, who do you come away with more impressed with? I said, Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker. Those were the 2 guys. Just their smarts, their accuracy, their ability to lead out on the field. I'll put it to you this way, Bo. I'll give you about 35 campers, ages 15 through 17. You in control of them. I've been to Manning where I'm not real sure if the college quarterback counselor was in control or they were in control. I mean, you got that many young teenagers with a lot of testosterone rolling through the body. Hey, ain't nobody can tell them nothing.
Right.
Zilch. But, man, when I went watch that camp with Bryce and with Hooker, they were 5-star generals. Hey, they were in control. You did what they told you to do. And I always take a long look at that. Who's in charge of all personnel? And so, those two guys, to me, have the best chance to make it in the NFL, the quickest chance to make it. Now, again, with Hendon, because of the knee injury, we'll see how long it takes for him to come back from that. Anthony Richardson, he had everybody watching him because there aren't a lot of human beings in this earth that is that big, that fast, and has got a whip for an arm. I mean, he can throw the football basically through a mountain. But he was highly inaccurate. And the Anthony Richardson I saw in Thibodeau at Manning was the exact Anthony Richardson I saw all season long. He doesn't set his feet right. He's inaccurate, especially on the shorter throws, because he puts way too much mustard on it. He throws a 5-yard pass the same way he throws a 55-yarder.
Yikes.
His reads downfield are not precise. He's going to take a chance. And I think it's because, Bo, he's done it for so long. He's got this amazing talent. And I think he feels as though he can put a football anywhere. It's a big difference from high school to college. Wait till you get from college to the pros, if you think that's a difference. And so I do know one thing: when you pick somebody that high in the draft, which someone will, someone's going to take that chance, the pressure to play him is going to be immense. First time that quarterback of yours screws up, you, man, I want to see Anthony Richardson. And Patrick Mahomes was lucky, and he's told me this. He was very fortunate that first year he had Alex Smith, who was a really good bridge quarterback and a guy that understood he was going to be there 1 year and then he was going to move on. That's not the norm in this world, to have that type player. You're forced to play him early. So if it's Will Levis, if it's Anthony Richardson, you're going to be forced to be played early. Now, Bryce, he knows he's going to play early. I mean, there's no doubt. We had that conversation at Manning, and he said, I'll probably will be the starter on game day in week 1. But he said, I'm up to the challenge. Whatever. He said, I'm up to the challenge. Hendon Hooker didn't say that to me, but he said, what he has been through at Virginia Tech and then coming into Tennessee, he said, my focus right now is to try to make Tennessee the best football club I can make them. And he said, I feel I'm the best guy for that job. And he certainly was. But he said, when I get to the pros, I understand the position that when he said, I'm not sure what age I became the full-time quarterback, but I understood the responsibilities with that. And I thought it was as mature an answer as you'll get from a young man, understanding that it didn't work out for him at Virginia Tech. And he wasn't supposed to be the guy at Tennessee. It was supposed to be Joe Milton. And, the change of fortunes on the Tennessee football program changed the day Josh Heupel pulled Milton and he put in Hendon Hooker. And look what that team has done in the last 2 years with him. and he's built upon that. And so it's always chancy on draft day for quarterbacks. They always get overdrafted. You're taking chances. There's a lot of comps for a lot of these guys. But don't let your lion eyes fool you on what you saw these guys play. I mean, there is a big body of work for every one of them. Every one of them. But there's always a Dr. Phil in the world that thinks they can cure it. I can cure that. I can cure that habit. Good luck with that, buddy. That's all I can tell you. Good luck with it.
What with Hendon Hooker, Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. You obviously feel like Bryce Young is 1, Hendon Hooker's 2. I love Hendon Hooker. I wonder if you could make the argument he's number 1. You mentioned second round. The ACL doesn't worry me. I mean, he'll come back. He'll be fine. I think 90-something% of the time the guys do. Do you think that he could move into the top 20 in the first round or even the first round?
From 30 to 45 in round 1. Somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Is where he's going to get picked. My number 2 guy is C.J. Stroud. I like C.J. He's, of all of them, probably the most pocket present of passers in this group. You watch Ohio State, he didn't, other than Georgia game, he stayed in that pocket. He hung in there. Now, against Georgia, which I thought maybe was one of the best games he played, he took off running. He gave Georgia a lot of issues. But he stays in the pocket a lot and throws the football from there. He's got a nice delivery. He sets up strong. At times, I think he maybe doesn't trust his throw. That maybe with some work, that'll get better. But he's got all the ingredients, and he's smart. He's a real smart quarterback. He understands this game. But he's never been noted as being a runner by any stretch. He does move around a little bit in the pocket, but he's never been known as a runner. And I think, you go into the game, if you're Georgia and you say, that guy hasn't run on anybody. Why is he going to run on us? Then all of a sudden, man, he made some big plays with his feet, running the football. So I like C.J. I like his approach to the game a lot. And he's a very fundamentally sound quarterback, computing it in his head. Again, we've seen the ups and downs. All of us have covered SEC football. I've seen the ups and downs with Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. It's been not a straight line. It's been a roller coaster for both of them. And Will, remember telling me at Manning that, at Penn State, they thought he was going to be Taysom Hill, basically a running quarterback. And he's been more than that. Richardson, again, unbelievable talent as a player. But can anyone fix the little intricacies that you need to make it big in this league? Because I'll tell you one thing, if he takes off running with the football, he put a lump in your throat like very few guys.
Sure.
Man, can he run? But again, that passing skills, you can see it's really not there yet, especially not there yet for the NFL level. So I think you'll have 5 quarterbacks picked in the top 40 picks, and with Bryce being the first and Hendon Hooker being the 5th.
Wow. Okay. C.J. Levis and Anthony Richardson in between Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker. Okay. And you mentioned the Saints maybe. Would the Saints have a shot, Mike?
They have an early second-round pick.
Okay. Oh.
And so my thing is, you got a big hole for the Saints, either an offensive line or a defensive tackle. I fixed that up in round 1. I fixed that hole. And then I get me a young quarterback. And then, running backs are going to be devaluated. They always are. And that's going to be one first-round pick running back in Bijan Robinson. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs will go in round 2. I got a feeling the A-Chain will, too. I think Devin A-Chain will go in round 2.
Okay.
But then you're going to have a host of them go in rounds 3 and 4. People like Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. He's got some Louisiana ties. Tajay Spears from Tulane. Rashawn Johnston, who was a backup to Bijan at Texas. I scouted him. He was a quarterback in high school. I had teams tell me, Mike, what do you think about him playing receiver? And my thing is, what? If he plays anything other than quarterback, he's going to play running back. But, Texas was smart with that. And I think Rashawn's a really good back. Zach Evans from Ole Miss, I think, is another player there. Bigsby from Auburn. I think you're going to see a bunch of those guys get picked in the third and early part of round 4.
Hey,
That's
Mike,
where you can get value.
Yeah, I would wait till the 4th round, but I see where you're going. Real quick, I got a minute. Emmanuel Forbes, do you have him in the 2nd round? Or
Yep, I got him 34th overall.
Wow.
Which means this. I've only got really 24 first-round picks. So from 25 to 40, I mean, the numerical ratings for them are really close. I could see a team late in round 1 with a need at cornerback pick Emmanuel.
That'd be
But
awesome.
I think he'll fall into that late first, early second round pick category, yes.
Wow. I think he's what they're looking for this day and age as far as, his build. He's played a ton of SEC ball, usually against, with an undermanned team, against a better team. He's held football, and he's just, man, he's electric once he gets the ball in his hands, too. So we'll see how that looks. Mike Detillier. Mike, did you survive another Mardi Gras?
Yeah, I always do. But this one was a little bit worse than I rode in 3 parades, so for me, I don't. But it's hard for me sometimes when people ask me for me to tell them no, and so I rode in 3. It was fun, but I was glad it was over, and I'll ride again next year.
I love it. Thanks, Mike D. We'll talk next week.
All righty then.
At Mike Detillier on Twitter, rode in 3 parades for Mardi Gras. That man never sleeps between sports talk radio, TV, and everything else that he does. We are the Out of Bounds Show. That interview is brought to you by SoundcomAV.com. And that's our crew at Sound and Communications in Pearl. They're right there by RPT Commercial and Muskelly Furniture. So SoundcomAV.com. Churches, businesses, and look, sports stadiums, facilities, you name it, they've done it. The leader in audio and visual. SoundcomAV.com. Worked with some of the top businesses in the state of Mississippi and throughout the Southeast. They've done it for Power 5 programs, G5, junior colleges, and high schools. You need a better sound system, among other things, at your ballpark, at your football field, in your arena. SoundcomAV.com. And that is Sound and Communications. Back in a second.